Good evening, board members and residents. I'd like to call to order our regular board meeting for Monday, February 9th, 2026. I ask that everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Whip, will you please take a roll call?
Yes, Mr. Backen.
Here.
Mr. Brotto.
Here.
Ms. Brown.
Here.
Mr. Oliati.
Here.
Mr. Tominelli.
Here.
Mr. Witt. Here. And Mr. Verkast.
Here. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, including approval of the regular board meeting minutes of January 26th, 2026, and approval of the bills in the amount of $1,074,444.56. Unless there are any revisions, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support. I've got a motion by Mr. Olgiati with support by Mr. Badkins. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Board. Next on the agenda is the approval of the regular agenda. Board members, I'm not aware of any changes to the agenda. If there are none, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Is there support?
Support.
And a motion by Mr. Olgiati with support by Mr. Brotto. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next on the agenda, announcements. Just a couple brief announcements. Harrison Township offices will be closed a week from today, Monday, February 16th, in observation of the holiday. We will reopen on Tuesday, February 17th with regular business hours. On Tuesday, February 17th, the Tucker Senior Center will be hosting their monthly physical therapy seminar. In order to learn more about this event and many other events offered at the Senior Center, you can call 586-466-1497. And as always, for more information on all township events, you can call the supervisor's office, 586-466-1445, and visit our website, www.harrisontownshipmi.gov. Any other announcements? Hearing none, we'll move forward on our agenda to item D1 from the clerk's office.
Yes. So the residents of the Archer, Lakeshore, and Pardee canals have collected signatures of over 50% of the frontage. They're petitioning to create a special assessment district to fund for sediment and aquatic weed removal in the canal there. So that we have the first resolution here before us tonight, which basically says, yes, we have sufficient signatures and that we are beginning the process for this project. So we would just need a motion to adopt resolution number 1.
So moved. Support.
All right, we've got a motion by Mr. Brotto with support by Mr. Tominello. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, Mr. Witt, will you please take the roll call?
Yes, Mr. Brotto?
Yes.
Mr. Tominello?
Yes.
Mr. Backens?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Olgiati?
Yes.
Mr. Witt? Yes. Mr. Verkast?
Yes. D2.
Yeah, next item there is for same project, and it's for the second public hearing, or for the second resolution to set our first public hearing for the process for March 9th at our regular board meeting. The first public hearing is for the board to hear objections to the project as well as to preserve the individual's opportunity to protest the assessment to the state tax tribunal. And so, again, this has to be published twice in the paper, at least 10 days in advance, as well as mail notice to the property owners by first-class mail, which we will do if the board approves this.
All right, any discussion? If not, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Make that motion.
Is there support?
Support.
We've got a motion by Mr. Olgiati with support by Ms. Brown. Any discussion on the motion?
Not on the motion, Mr. Supervisor, but just to, I do want to have a conversation about the project as a whole.
Okay.
The residents are in sort of a timeline where they're trying to see if there's a potential to get the work done, some of the work done in the spring. and then the rest of the work done in the fall. The plan has always been to phase it, just given the constraints they have for the bags. But in order to do that, we'd have to start some of our processes running concurrently before we sort of finish our special assessment process. And, we can work with our engineer to try and start figuring out what we need to do for permits and that kind of stuff and get that ball rolling as quick as possible. But if the board wasn't supportive of, moving both at the same time, I wouldn't want to bring a proposal forward, so I thought I would talk about it tonight a little bit, just to check the feeling of the board, not asking for, yes, you have to guarantee you're going to act on it, but, hey, can we, start those, bringing that forward to start that work, and keep the process moving.
Any thoughts, comments, board members? Questions?
We're still having a public hearing on it, correct?
Oh, yeah, we're still doing all our public hearing stuff. It's just, is the board comfortable with, having the engineer start to do some of that work? And, we'll bring proposals back to the board to approve the work. But I don't want to do it if you're like, well, I wasn't going to approve it until, after we have all our resolutions in place and confirm the role. Because, this project has been before us several times. We had fits and starts a little bit, and so,
I think the board, myself, I feel like it's a really important project to get going as fast as possible on.
Okay.
I don't really want to delay it a whole heck of a lot, so whatever we can do to work with them, because I know that they've been kind of suffering in that area, trying to get their boats in and out of there the last couple of years. So I think it's important that we do whatever we can to make sure that we can expedite the process for them.
It's not going to get cheaper.
No, exactly.
yeah.
And I do think it's necessary, but obviously, like any SAD, if a majority of folks aren't in favor of it, then.
Yeah, and that's, that was part of it. We were waiting for them to get their signatures in order, and we just got over 50%, 2 weeks ago, and so we're moving it as quickly as we have it, so we sort of want to keep that ball rolling if we.
Just over 50% is, that's the simple majority.
That's
the
what we need.
standard we
Yep.
follow. I do believe that the sediment removal, it's kind of like the rising tide. It'll improve the value of every property. It's, I understand that some may not want to do this, but unfortunately, that canal really hadn't been open to have any significant navigation for forever, frankly. And I think this is a necessary project.
And then further sort of thought for the board, there has been times where we have worked with a special assessment district to move a project forward, and they've brought forward a preferred vendor, given there's sometimes where there's, not a lot of options out there. And I think these property owners have identified a vendor that they want to move forward with, but I do know when we bid the project out last year, we did have another vendor bid on it. So I sort of wanted to check with the board as far as, the need to, if they said like, hey, this is the guy if we want to go with company X, can we feel comfortable with that, or is it something where the board would feel more comfortable, doing full bid package and stuff?
So when it was written, was that question that was put forth to the 51%? That, a couple of things you mentioned different suppliers. It's been a year ago, so forgive me.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Forgot a little bit.
Yeah.
So was that brought forth to the folks that were signing this? The other part of that, I thought you mentioned earlier that there might be phasing to the project. And has that been presented to the residents as well? Because as long as, no offense, but as long as I'm phase one, I'm okay with it. But if I'm phase three and I lose my summer, I may not be okay with it.
Yeah.
So are the residents, was that part of the SAD?
So the vendor they're working with right now is just basically, the guy's basically doing it as a business development, right, And I think, we were working with the people that were coordinating the project to try and find a location to be able to host those sediment bags that they need. And really the only place that was practical, was the township park right there, Ani Park. And given the constraints of that, we have to do it in two phases. Like, there's no way to do one and then the other
Yeah,
the
it's
same
not, it's
time.
not timing, it's just there's no way to put that much material.
So it's other restrictions, it's not so much this vendor can't do it,
No.
it's
Right.
just
The vendor
not
would love
enough
to do it.
space to
Right.
Correct.
perform all of
Yeah,
this.
so as an option, to give you an idea, we actually investigated whether or not the sediment could be pumped to the parking lot at Lake St. Clair Metro Park. So in terms of just the calculations of the volume of material and so on and so forth, it's a big project and it just can't be, it's pretty much a two-phase project, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is, from a timing perspective, is it a one summer?
One season?
Yeah,
One season.
their goal would be to, in an ideal world, they're doing one before Memorial Day and one after Labor Day-ish, based on Eagle and, that kind of stuff.
There's some restrictions on spawning and,
Yeah,
And and the thing is, if we go out to bid, they won't have any work done this summer. They'll be after summer, just given the time constraints of preparing a bid package, putting out to bid. And they've talked to people and tried to find, I really feel like they've beaten every bush to try and find a vendor that was comfortable doing the work in the scope that they've done it and has experience doing it. And so I think they would be comfortable with us moving forward with that one, but ultimately, we're serving as the fiduciary for the people that signed it, and so I wanted to get a feel for the board so I could know how to proceed without, going down a path where you guys are like, that's not the way we should have taken.
Right, this isn't us steering the work toward one of 10 contractors. This is us finding, when I say us, I mean, it's a joint project between the township and the property owners, or at least some of the property owners that are looking at this. There just aren't a lot of contractors that can do a project of this size. And we did, I mean, this is a contractor that we worked with on a prior project, was successful, somewhat of a partnership, I guess. They're the ones identifying this work, and, this is one of those things where we have the ability to form an SAD, spread out that cost. We have the ability to finance through, the bonding process. We can borrow money cheaper and make sure that everybody pays more efficiently. But really, this contractor was kind of the contractor that was identified by the homeowners. I don't think, from the work that we've done on this, I don't think we're uncomfortable with the contractor, but I think what all Mr. Witt is trying to say is, we're really steering this toward an individual who's identified a price and performed successfully in other projects in the township in the past. So in the interest of not avoiding it going to multiple seasons and, further disruption, there's a pretty good likelihood that, we'd be inclined to steer this toward one particular contractor. Not against the will of the folks that organized this, but in concert with
Yeah,
the
and
will of the folks that
and they were
organized
walking around with the information from this vendor. There wasn't, when they were talking to people and they had their meetings, they were sharing information from this vendor, had the vendor available to people. So they've been upfront, to your question, Mr. Beckins, with, who they were looking to use, who they've been working with.
And we didn't choose the vendor.
We did not.
Again, if my memory serves me correctly, last year there was some questions from people that even signed, and it sounds like that's been resolved. There's been more clarity on pricing, timing, and who's going to be doing the work. That's what it sounds like to me.
Correct, and the
Yeah.
cost has gone up, right?
But
I mean,
the-
in addition-
Like you
cost is-
said, yeah, it's not going to get any cheaper.
Well, and they're doing a larger scope of work than they had originally expected, because this guy came and looked at it and said, like, not speaking ill of somebody else
Yeah.
that gave you an idea of what you needed to do, but I think you need to do a lot more. And so they're actually, I think they had some easier time where people were like, yeah, we're actually doing what I wanted to get all the sediment out of there and deal with a lot more of the problems. So.
Yep. I just wanted to make sure some of those concerns of people that maybe
Yeah.
push back a little bit, that's all taken care of, and the fact that no one probably knows what the water level's going to be, so if it doesn't happen,
Well, the ice cover is good news for us, right?
Well, if you got a-
That part's
yeah.
good, but
Yeah.
the trend is data that is not good for us.
Right.
It's also worth noting that prior to working with this contractor, The only other contractor that we had actually worked with that had done work, that had, successfully performed projects, pulled out of this because they were concerned that they couldn't do this project. So, there's some value in saying that this clearly is a big project, and previously, I think the other time we did an SAD for this was like Sunnybrook and that area.
Yep.
And that contractor said, gosh, you know what, I'm not comfortable moving forward. So we have some evidence, some data from another contractor that does this work that they were afraid of the volume of work. So when you put all those things together, we do feel comfortable. But I think we're just kind of saying to the board, this isn't a scenario where we're gonna get, 10 people all wanting to bid on this. There just isn't that kind of diversity in contractors that do this work.
But, as far as urgent, as far as, things like getting your boat in the water can be an urgent thing, like this is time sensitive for them to be able to use their property in the best manner, and so they're willing to pay for it. It doesn't come at any cost to us. So we're trying to be as supportive as we can at this point to try and move it along, so.
So really, the only question is, typically SADs, when we get the majority, we perform the services that the residents are requesting, the majority of the residents.
That's right.
The only question that is being asked, or maybe a comment,
Contemplated.
is,
Yep.
we're going to run in parallel with engineering, and that the SAD team has sort of selected a supplier.
Yes.
Fair.
That's, is that where we're at?
You have
Okay.
succinctly summed it up.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and it's kind of an FYI.
But if you have somebody who was like, red flag, then, we know how to move forward with that too.
This is a perfect example of when you work really close with something. I'm comfortable with this, but we're recognizing that, the makeup of the board, I think rightfully so, is 4 trustees that are kind of, an alternate view sometimes, or not really close to things. And so if we're talking about steering this toward one particular contractor, I think it's better to give that information up front. But at this point, this is moving
We're
forward with a
simply
public-
setting the public hearing date, and,
Right.
we're gonna move forward with that.
Right, we are not approving the project in totality.
No.
But clearly, we're steering toward that based on
Yep.
the volume of
Signatures.
signatures.
Yep.
Fair enough?
Yes.
Understood.
Thank you,
Yes.
board.
Any other discussion on that? Board members, questions, issues? If not, we do have a motion and support to approve the let's see,
Resolution number 2.
resolution number 2. Everybody understand? All right, seeing no public comment, Mr. Witt, will you please take the roll call?
Mr. Olgiati?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Backens?
Yes.
Mr. Brado?
Yes.
Mr. Tominello?
Yes.
Mr. Witt? Yes. Mr. Verkast?
Yes, thank you, board, and we'll talk about it in a month. Okay, next on the agenda, item E1 from the fire department. Board members, this is regarding apparatus, air packs or breathing apparatus, self-contained. Fire department is requesting approval to purchase 24 Extend Air 2 kit upgrades for our air packs or self-contained breathing apparatus. We originally purchased those, they're 2013 models. The Extend Air 2 kit updates our Buddy Breather life-saving auxiliary airline. This upgrade kit will extend the life and functionality of our current air packs. We believe that we can extend the life of our current air packs to 20 years total, which will take us to 2033. Purchasing 24 new air packs would cost roughly about $250,000, between $220,000 and $240,000. The upgrade will save money for the township. It's one of those scenarios where we have MSA, SCBA's, or self-contained breathing apparatus devices. We can't go to 7 vendors and get a quote. If we want to upgrade them, we've got to go with the McQueen, the supplier. This does extend the life, and the Buddy system is where multiple firefighters are in a scenario where they're dependent on a breathing apparatus, and either one unit runs out of air or one unit fails and just ceases to deliver air. You can basically plug in and draw from their breathing apparatus. This upgrade makes those universal. So universal in a mutual aid fashion. So, it doesn't do us any good if Clinton Township shows up and they're help us fight a structure fire. I run out of my breathing apparatus fails or runs low, and I can't connect to the guy next to me. That could be fatal. So this is definitely something needed. Our only option is either to buy new ones or to upgrade these, and clearly the cost is much lower. So discussion, questions, or is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the purchase of the 24 new Extend Air 2 kit upgrades.
All right, at a cost of
At a cost of
$31,700.
I'll support that.
All right. Got a motion with support. Any discussion on the motion?
I just worked on a project with the fire chief in Washington Township. He couldn't say enough about our chief and our department.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. And then their assistant chief, I think, was part of that selection process. Super good guy, but yeah, so. Okay, good. Any other discussion? Hearing none. We've got a motion with support. No public comment. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Board. Next on the agenda, item F1 from the clerk's office.
Yes, thank you. So tonight we have our Community Development Block Grant public hearing. Purpose of this, of the CDBG public hearing is to obtain the views of citizens concerning community development and housing needs as required by the Housing Community Development Act of 1974. So the program, as board members may remember, is split up into two sections for as far as the township is concerned. There's the bricks and mortar portion of the CDBG, which is a competitive grant process, and then the other portion is the public services fund.
Is it automatically 15 or it's up to 15%?
It's up to 15%, but for the most part, it's always
Sure.
done the full.
Yep.
So we are able to apply for up to two $150,000 bricks and mortar projects. Our recommendation at this time for those would be to apply for two sewer lining projects for West and South Magdalena Streets to complement the grants we received under the 2025 program that we'll be doing for Anchorage and St. Christopher, which will be moving forward this year. If we get that done, we'll pretty much have most of the neighborhood there done. And then the other $17,750, the recommendation, as always, is to assign that to Dial-A-Ride bus services. Any money that we don't assign to our Dial-A-Ride services would be money that would have to come from a different source, most likely the general fund, because we do not have sufficient funding from SMART to cover the cost of running our Dial-A-Ride bus service. But at this time, we would be opening the floor for the public hearing to allow for anyone to speak, either request funding or to speak to how the board should or could allocate the CDBG money.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for the CDBG public funds.
Is there support?
I'll support.
So open. Mr. Tominello, support by Ms. Brown. Any discussion on opening the public hearing? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, this is a roll call.
It does. Mr. Tominello?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Backens?
Yes.
Mr. Brado?
Yes.
Mr. Olgiati?
Yes.
Mr. Witt? Yes. Mr. Verkowski?
Yes. So at this time, the public comment period for our allocation of 2026 Community Development Block Grant Funds is open. Anybody present who wishes to address that, we just invite you up to the podium and. Sure. That's how it always works.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. These pens are awesome. I just brought.
Yeah,
I got the
is.
same pen I
They're-
brought to the meeting. These are the best pens of all time.
They do. They're, it's funny that you say that.
We do get a lot of compliments on those pens.
They're great pens.
They're very popular outreach product. Hello, Board of Trustees. My name is Claire Brinkman. I am the Outreach Assistant for Interfaith Volunteer Caregiver Program. I am requesting 1,575 CGB funds that would complete 35 projects for residents in Harrison Township. As you know, the number of older adults in Macomb County is continuously rapidly increasing, and the need for support services due to frailty of age, chronic health conditions, or disabilities is growing dramatically over the future. For the past 33 years, our organization has been providing free basic assistance to hundreds of older and physically challenged adults in the community, helping them remain safely in their homes with the help of hundreds of volunteers. This assistance helps older and disabled adults with services such as chores, transportation, respite breaks, errands, and loneliness. These opportunities provide fulfilling experiences for those who volunteer with us, as well as those who receive the support. The CDBG Safe at Home project of IVC is a part of our large chore and repair program. This project was developed to provide additional chore and repair services in the community that the allocated funds for this purpose. Safe at Home will allow us to assist low to moderate income seniors and physically challenged adults with indoor, outdoor minor chores and routine housekeeping. These individuals would not be able to find tasks or pay for them on their own. For example of some of these projects, we do minor plumbing repairs, replacing locks, washing windows, raking leaves, routine housekeeping, installing smoke alarms, upgrading carbon monoxide detectors. We provide almost 20,000 hours to help nearly 500 people each year, some of which reside in Harrison Township. We are confident with any type of CDBG funding, we would be able to assist more residents in Harrison Township as well. Thank you so much for your time. And if there is anyone who has any interest in volunteering with IVC, or anyone who knows of anyone who may need our services, they can reach out to us on our website, ivcinfo.org, or give us a call at 586-757-5551. And I can answer questions if you have any.
Any questions, board members?
Do you have an age requirement for specific chores?
We don't. It's kind of on a case-by-case, especially for people with intellectual and physical disabilities, that may differ as well.
But like going to mow someone's lawn, perhaps? Maybe a teenager going to do that?
You're saying.
Oh, you mean to volunteer?
Volunteering,
Oh, to
yes.
volunteer. Typically, we want people who are 18 or up, or if they're under 18, they would just need to have a parent present with them. But really, we've had Girl Scouts troops, Boy Scout troops. It just, we need to have an adult, a part of that group as well.
Okay.
Any other questions?
That's a good point, because that might be a perfect thing for community service for these high school kids that get this stuff.
Yes, we'd love it. Group projects or anything like that. You'll feel free to send them our way.
Anything else? Wonderful, thank you very much. Is there any other public comment? Discussion, public hearing?
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm the intake coordinator at Care House. Care House is Macomb County's Child Advocacy Center with our main office in Mount Clemens, a satellite office located in Warren. Care House is the only agency in Macomb County who offers comprehensive services for child victims of sexual abuse, physical abuse, or children who have witnessed a violent act, as well as their non-offending family members. Our goal is to minimize trauma for that child victim and to provide coping skills, advocacy, and case management for the family. We collaborate with all law enforcement jurisdictions in Macomb County, Child Protective Services, the Macomb County Prosecutor's Office, and medical and mental health professionals. Children receive a forensically sound, fact-gathering, developmentally appropriate interview by a trained forensic interviewer, while their investigative team is observing through a closed-circuit TV. This helps reduce trauma, so kids only have to tell their story one time. These services include crisis counseling, child safety and trauma assessments, parent and child support groups, trauma-focused therapy sessions, assistance with crime victim compensations, interpreter and transportation services as needed, ongoing case management, access to medical exams, and a family resource center with full family support. Families are never charged for the services they receive at Care House. We provide services to all referred children and their non-offending family members. I am proud to report that according to our most recent independent financial audit, 89 cents of every dollar that comes to Care House is specifically devoted to serving children and families in our community. Care House has conducted over 11,800 forensic interviews since opening in 1996. 262 of those reside in Harrison Township. Last year in 2025, we conducted 595 forensic interviews, and 14 of those resided in Harrison Township. We depend on support from the community to provide a voice for child victims and a safe place for them to be heard. We are very grateful for your past support and respectfully request your consideration for funding this upcoming year in the amount of $2,000 to support services for 3 qualifying child victims and their families that reside in Harrison Township. Of course, we would be grateful for any amount that you would be able to allocate to us. For more information, you can check out our new website or follow us on Facebook. Thank you for your considerations, and I can answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions?
Just from personal experience, I've dealt with Care House quite a bit over the years and fundraising stuff on a personal level with them, and it's a fantastic group over there. They do God's work over there. There's no doubt about that. They see some really, really tough things over there. We appreciate having you in our community, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else for comment for the public hearing? Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Hearing no other public comment, I would be looking for a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make the motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, is there support? Support. Got a motion by Ms. Brown with support by Mr. Olgiati to close the public hearing. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, Mr. Witt, will you please take the roll call?
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Olgiati?
Yes.
Mr. Backens?
Yes.
Mr. Brado?
Yes.
Mr. Tominello?
Yes.
Mr. Witt? Yes. Mr. Verkest?
Yes. All right, next on our agenda is,
We do need a motion for the allocation, Mr. Supervisor.
I thought that was the next thing, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Yeah, so as I said at the beginning of the agenda item, obviously, we heard from 2 very passionate people and great organizations, and so they're asking for a portion of our allocation. But again, ultimately, anything that we allocate away from our bus service is money that has to come from another service to replace the funding that we would lose for our dial-a-ride program. And our dial-a-ride program is also providing a very important and crucial service for a lot of individuals in our community that wouldn't have rides or transportation to medical appointments or to meals at our senior center. So ultimately, the recommendation would be to allocate the $17,500 to the, or $17,750 to the public services for the dial-a-ride, and direct the clerk to apply for $250,000 projects for the sewer lining for West and South Magdalena streets.
Okay, so recommendation would be to allocate $17,750 to our dial-a-ride and direct the clerk to apply for 2 $150,000 grants. Discussion, or is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there support?
Support.
Got a motion by Mr. Tominello with support by Mr. Badkins. There's been some discussion. Is there further discussion, board members?
It's always one of the least fun bits, right?
So, yeah, nobody's
Never-
favorite.
Never gets easier.
Nobody's favorite.
Honestly, of all the meetings that we have every year, this is the one I feel the worst about every year for whatever reason.
Yes, yeah.
Wish there was more.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, board, and thank you to the two individuals that came. And of course, thank you to both of you and your organizations and the good work that you do. Next is item F2.
Yes, as I mentioned under the previous agenda item, the township was awarded $250,000 CDBG grants for sewer lining projects on St. Christopher and Anchorage Streets. These projects must be bid now under the terms of the CDBG program, and we received a proposal from Fishbeck to complete the design and bidding of the work, which is attached for the board. The cost for the work is a lump sum fee of $13,800. They did include a rather detailed scope for the in their proposal attached. So again, this would, there is some discussion in that proposal about the construction side of it. But this time I didn't want the board to approve it because we didn't really have the contract yet. And so we can always award that as we go forward and get the bids back. And, they'll probably have a better idea as to what the work looks like. We'll probably be able to get a more fine point on that number. So it's not just, right? So I'm holding off on that at this point. I'm just asking for the board to award the $13,800 for the design and bidding portion.
And that second portion in the scope of work,
The construction engineering portion.
construction engineering, which, because these are federal dollars, there's a, there's a
There's a lot of legwork there for doing Davis-Bacon wage interviews, certified payrolls, tracking down all the stuff from making sure they have all their UEI numbers and everything else, and making sure they've checked all the boxes and that kind of stuff. So the CDBG comes with a lot of strings, and employing an engineer is one of the ways that we make sure we're checking all the boxes.
And these funds are or
This
are
is,
not?
this would be water and sewer funds that would pay for the engineering side of it. We always leverage our engineering dollars as match funds, and it makes us more competitive in the CDBG grant program.
Right. And by paying those from water and sewer funds, we're we're simplifying the process that we have to go through, which really ultimately reduces the cost of paying for
Correct.
the engineering.
Yes.
So if we were to try to use these funds, if we were applying for a grant, being that it's a federal grant, and we said, we're gonna use some of that federal grant to pay for this, we're gonna see a number here in front of us that would likely be higher because of all the strings, regulations, oversight that come with spending federal dollars. So we're kind of using this to make our grant application more competitive and also lower the cost. Ultimately, this work improves our sanitary system, should reduce infiltration and ultimately lower the overall cost, certainly over a period of time, to provide sanitary sewer services for all the townships, since it's all kind of averaged together. So I don't know if there are any questions, or if there's a motion to award this engineering to Fishback for $13,800.
I guess I have questions. Under the assumption, Fishback comments, our proposals does not include preparation of 24 by 36-inch drawings, instead by 11 by 17. That's based on as-built drawings provided by us. So have we provided the as-built drawings to them?
Paul Kamer from Fishbeck is here, so I let him speak to it, but we have granted them access to they can grant access to our GIS so they can see all that data, and we do have now digitized all our sewer plans and as-built that we can get to them, so
Okay.
I'm not super worried about that.
So do you have everything?
Not as of yet. We haven't coordinated, but obviously we do have access to the GIS, which has much of the information that is needed for a project of this type.
Okay.
Scope. Yep. And again, it's a sewer lining, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of existing infrastructure.
And typically, yeah, you would just develop more sketches or based on the GIS.
And last time, because we did a project like this before, I'm not going to guess how Fishbeck designs things, but last time it was basically they did a drawing of what a standard would look like, and they say, hey, we think the sewer looks like this, and if it does, we want it to look like this when you're done, and once you get into the field, if conditions are different, there's change orders, there's adjustments. Because what they do on these projects is they'll go through and clean them out first. And even if we had great as-built, if we haven't done clean out, they don't know exactly what the scope's gonna be. So a lot of it's just based on standards and like, this is what a manhole looks like, and this is what we think it should look like when you line it, kind of thing.
This scope of work and cost would be different if we were starting with nothing in the ground and completely designing a sewer system.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, because it said that we're going to provide it to them, and as long as
Yeah.
Well, and
we're on the same page with that.
Yep, and we're in the process of some of that transfer of data, and clearly some of that, getting too far ahead with some of that transfer of data has a little bit to do with item G1, so.
Yep.
And for whatever it's worth, we're like, for example, our intent at this point, maybe engineering, if we approve G1, Fishbeck might be taken care of, so some of our engineering, we've had really great success with our planner from Wade Trim. So, and the planner does from time to time need that GIS. So if we do move forward, the responsibility of owning is not the right word, the ownership from a design perspective of our GIS data might be transferred to Fishbeck, but we recognize, hey, we still have to have, Wade Trim has to have some access to the current GIS data, because when they're doing plan review and looking at, some of the other challenges, they need some access. So it could end up being sort of shared. So,
And the due date, or the completion date's the 27th of February?
Yeah, I've been sort of holding off trying to get the contract in place before I brought the proposal, because I was trying to do things in as much of an order as we could, but our time constraints with the county to be able to get the money, get the project let in time, I had to have this proposal as we were debating the contract, so we felt comfortable. We bought as much time as we could with the county, and so we should be in a good spot, I think, talking to Paul.
okay. Any other questions, discussion, or is there a motion to award this work?
I will make the motion to award the projects on St. Christopher and Anchorage Streets for a lump sum fee of $13,800 to Fishbeck.
All right, is there support? Support. All right, we've got a motion by Ms. Brown, with support by Mr. Olgiati. Any discussion on the motion? Had a fair amount of discussion. Seeing no public comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, next on the agenda, item G1. Board members, the Board of Trustees at the October 27th, 2025 board meeting directed the supervisor and township attorney to develop an engineering services contract and bring it back to this board for approval. We looked at sample contracts, developed one from one of the examples. The attached contract has been reviewed by the attorney, obviously by us and by Fishbeck. We believe it is ready for approval. We've also been working with Wade Trim and Fishbeck to transfer data and information. We've reviewed all existing projects and believe it is best to have Wade Trim finish the projects that they're currently working on. I believe that it's best that I recommend that we direct the supervisor to execute the engineering services contract with Fishbeck as presented. So obviously that contract is in the board packet. So at this time, any questions, discussion? Obviously, we have the engineering services company represented here. So I'll entertain a motion or any questions, discussion.
I know that you had mentioned there hasn't been a handoff of all the data.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been a handoff or discussion about all the projects?
Yeah, so yes, we talked kind of internally initially, and then with the service providers. This is kind of one of those scenarios where we're not saying with this contract that no one else can do work. We're saying, listen, we recognize we have a need to have an engineering firm that we can consistently go to. They kind of give us, attention, representation. They kind of come to us and work with us, and when we need something, we hope that we develop the kind of a relationship that in the past we've had for, in excess of 10 years with each of the two prior engineering firms. But it doesn't preclude us, for example, from working with someone else. So this doesn't say we can't do something, and we had conversations with the existing projects, and so at this point, clearly Wade Trim has no problem finishing the work. They've already quoted it, they've made a commitment to us. We talked about it with Fishbeck representatives and internally, and feel that it makes most sense to finish the projects that they're working on. Pulling them out in the middle and starting all over could be kind of disruptive, could lead to finger pointing. I'm not saying that would happen. But it isn't as if, 8 months from now, if we find that we have some minor revision to an existing project, this contract before us doesn't preclude us from calling Wade Trim and say, hey, can you make this one small revision to these plans? And they tell us, oh, that's $1,500. Maybe that's the cheapest and most efficient way to handle that. But moving forward, we're looking to establish a new relationship with a new firm.
With the engineering that Wade Trim has already performed, are they still liable for any errors or things that maybe they engineered? They're still liable?
Yeah, so that's one of those scenarios where in some cases, those things are pretty black and white. Maybe there's something in a contract. If they say, we're going to provide you with this engineering, and they don't, that would be kind of contractual. If there was something where we said, well, you failed with this, that could be something that might involve litigation, and that doesn't go away regardless. Signing this contract doesn't take away anybody's responsibility. Some of those things, I guess, like I say, are black and white. Like I guess an example, you may recall that we awarded a project to Wade Trim to use some money that was held in escrow to loop the water service to the Sea-Watch condo area. And it says, for example, in that contract that they'll do the design engineering and they're going to put it out for bid. And so if they said, well, no, we're not going to go to bid on that, I'd say, well, that's in your contract. That would be kind of like, if they refused, it would lead to litigation. But if they designed that and 5 years later it blew up, well, we would probably be more in a civil environment for that. So I don't know that switching engineering firms erases the potential for litigation, although in almost 20-year relationship, I don't think we ever found ourselves in litigation with the existing firm.
Okay.
All right. And again, I say this, I don't say this because I'm backing into this. We went through a pretty lengthy process, and we feel comfortable that Fishbeck is a well-qualified service provider. We're not a huge township. Bringing, us becoming a part of, maybe the family of municipalities that they service is not going to cause them to double in size, but we do feel comfortable. But this isn't something that says we're locked in for 10 years. They agree to provide certain services. This kind of talks about, the way things shall be structured, what their responsibilities are, how we'll determine what projects are. But recognize that if, 18 months from now, we say, gosh, I don't know, they're thinking this way and we were thinking that, we could always say, hey, we're going to go in another direction. If I thought that was going to happen in 18 months, I wouldn't bring it forward, but until you know what I mean? It's sort of like until you hire someone and work with them for a period of time, you really don't know. But, based on what we know from the process we went through, we feel they're best suited to provide our services, and in order to get that going, executing this contract would get that relationship. Certainly, I have a feeling if Fishbeck would be a lot more comfortable moving forward with taking on GIS data and doing some of this transfer, knowing that this board expressed confidence to execute the contract.
Are you still looking for a motion?
So, yeah, really, it's the proposed motion is to direct the supervisor to execute the engineering services contract with Fishbeck as presented. We're comfortable with it, Fishbeck is comfortable, Mr. Huth reviewed it, so,
I'll make that motion.
all right. Is there support?
I'll support the motion.
All right, we've got a motion by Mr. Brado, support by Mr. Olgiati. Any discussion on the motion?
Who was our designated single point of contact?
So they have a primary, Paul, and then an alternate as well. But even in the time that we've worked on this, we've worked with Maria as a vice president, because, you know, you're getting into contracts, so we have, per our request, we said we want a primary and we'd like a secondary. And that's so far proven to be working pretty good. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, board, and thank you to Fishbeck for being here to support us. Next on the agenda, item G2 regarding principles of governance. Board members, the Michigan Townships Association has sent the attached letter suggesting that the Township Board deliberate and adopt the attached principles of governance. The objective is that the Township Board can be much more efficient and effective when there is a high degree of trust among board members and those they have been elected to serve. So there is a letter and a set of principles of governance that MTA encourages us to adopt. So at this time, I would encourage the board to make a motion to adopt the MTA principles of governance as they've presented them.
So moved.
All right, is there support?
Support.
Okay, we've got a motion by Mr. Badkins with support by Ms. Brown. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, this isn't a resolution.
It is a resolution.
It is a
sir.
resolution, okay. So, Mr. Whitby, please take the roll call.
Yes, Mr. Batkins?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Brado?
Yes.
Mr. Olgiati?
Yes.
Mr. Tominello?
Yes.
Mr. Witt? Yes. Mr. Burkowski?
Yes. Thank you, board. I think it's a wise set of rules that we should try to live by. All right, with that, we've got to item H, which is public comment section of our agenda. So at this time, we'll open the floor for public comment. They can be about any subject you wish. And we ask that you try to limit those to 5 minutes in length. So anyone who wishes to, at this time, you can talk about your dog, you can talk about anything you want.
Well, I could talk about my dog for a long time, but again, hi, my name is Claire with Interfaith. I just wanted to share that we are having our very first indoor rummage sale coming up on March 21st. It's going to be from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., and it's going to be at the Clinton Township Housing Community Center, about 4 miles down from here, so it's on 15 Mile in between Gratiot and Harper. And if you're interested in renting a table, it's $15, and admission is free. So just wanted to share that while I was here. Thank you.
Claire? Take that for me, please. You take that, thank you.
All right, is there any further public comment?
Shannon, did you want to introduce yourself? Why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Shannon Doolin. I had an opportunity to meet most of you before the meeting, but just wanted to introduce myself. I am Director of Government and Community Affairs for Comcast. We had some recent staffing changes, and so moving forward, I will be your main point of contact. So anything I can do to help with anything Comcast related, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I did send an email to all of you with my contact information and provided some general information about Comcast. But again, looking forward to working with the board. I was in a similar role a few years ago and serviced Harrison Township, but it's been some time, so I'm glad to be back in a similar role and able to work with you again. So looking forward to meeting you. Trustee Brown, I didn't get an opportunity to speak to you before the meeting. And Supervisor Burkowski, we've met in the past, but it's been some time. But again, just happy to be here and able to work with you again. So happy to help however I can.
Thank you very much.
C. William Bardell, 29-year resident, clean cut, do-gooder boy next door, clean up, fix up, people helping people. I just want to remind everyone to check out a little bit of reading material on Save Lake St. Clair on Facebook. stay up to date on everything, and have a wonderful evening. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing no further public comment, we'll close the floor for public comment. Any board comment? Hearing none, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn. Mr. Bankins? All right, is there support? Support. Support by Mr. Olgiati. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries, meeting adjourned.